Pragmata, Indiana, Tomodata, the Switch 2 is harder cause it's got a lot of gaming data, and these reviews I gotcha because I drank some Java and I ain't got a stopper. Sorry, I don't know what just got into me. I was touched by the devil. Look at these guys. You know, for all the whining and complaining that we do sometimes, Nintendo, where's the games? Nintendo, I need a direct. There sure is a lot of games coming out, isn't there? I mean, you look at the PlayStation 5, they just got a new game for the first time in like a year. And over on Xbox, well, those people are just left scrolling Game Pass for 4 hours and then reinstalling Halo again. But over on Switch 2, I mean, these games are releasing back to back every single week, and some of them are good. I wanted to make this video weeks ago, you know, when Pragmata and Tomodachi Life were actually still relevant. The internet moved on from things so quickly that if I take too long to make a video, nobody cares anymore. But unfortunately, I got sick. I got like a monster flu. Don't worry, it's not the new virus that's going around threatening to release a new Animal Crossing. No, I just had the regular flu, and so did Kim, and then so did Baby, unfortunately. And the worst part of all of it, you take a delusional sick dad and have him play a game like Tomodachi Life that has no in-game filter, you just get some weird results. I mean, I can explain.
There are so many benefits to having a small Luigi content, especially when you think about a big one.
Wow, what? Although there is some good news, because I took so long on this video, I can talk about Indiana Jones now, because they even sent me an early copy of the game in this neat little adventurer's envelope. I felt like an explorer just opening this thing. You would think my favorite part is that it's not a game key cup, but nope. Look, a pin, which that's exciting. I look forward to talking about Indiana later in the video. I mean, the last time I was this close to a man with a whip, I was starting a podcast. This game's a lot less sexy than that, though. I try to make these videos fun because life can be so boring. But it doesn't have to be. Ow. These are Vitch's XR glasses, and built in here and viewable only by me is a giant 174-inch private movie cinema screen that's 4K-like quality, and I can take it anywhere I go. This model is their biggest, brightest, and best so far. Things in the glasses look so real, I bet you even thought I was actually sitting on a real couch. And I am. But how do they work, you might be asking? I don't know, it's wizard tech. But here's how I set it up to play. I plug the glasses in to the dock. I plug the dock into my Switch. That's it. We're ready to go. These glasses have become a staple of the way I play my Switch. We're talking about a metal quality frame. We're talking about Sony micro OLED screens inside this, which is why the screen quality is so incredible, and it's also the only way to get an OLED on your Switch too. We have Harman over-the-ear audio. These lenses actually have electrochromatic film in them, making it so you have full control of how blacked out the glasses are. I can walk on the moon in Pragmata. I can hang out with my Mies in BeatEmUps. Still not sure if BeatEmUps sounds the way I wanted it to. In fact, Vitcher recently released this ABXY controller, which comes with swappable D-pads and toggles, and you just slot your mobile straight into this thing. It honestly is breathtaking, and it floors me every time how much better my games look in the glasses than just playing it handheld. Okay, so click the link in the description box down below, use code BeatEmUps, and you'll get 10% off everything at Vitcher. Just off everything. 10% off. All right, back to the video. Pragmata. I was eyeballing this Switch 2 release ever since it was announced and revealed to be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 somehow. PS5, Xbox. Ah! Oh! And you know, after my recent binge on the Resident Evil series, and you can go and watch my blood gushing review on all of those games over here in this video, with Pragmata running in the same engine, I knew that I could expect pretty much the same quality of experience, and oh boy, well, I was right. Didn't really need the drum roll. The difference between the PlayStation 5 and the Switch 2 version is staggeringly similar here. I can barely tell them apart. I think the Switch 2 version is better, actually. Nah, I'm not gonna go that far, but the PlayStation 5 version isn't that much different. Considering, I mean, I think What'd you forget? Sometimes size does count, and the girls like it small. The boys, however. I'll cut to the chase. I loved every second of this game. This is my kind of game. This is the kind of stuff I look for in video games. It's like that Xbox 360 era of just weird. Let's try something wacky and see if it works, and in this case, it does. I picked this game up and I started it on a Friday evening, and I finished it by Sunday night. I was glued to it the whole time. I was peeing in a bag. From the spectacle of the visuals, the fast-paced story, the unique and innovative gameplay, fun level designs that flowed quickly into each other, and the addictive feeling of being constantly rewarded by items, upgrades, or even in-game achievements popping up on the screen like I am playing an old Xbox 360 game. You know the old sound. Pulling. That's not how it sounded. It's something new and fresh while also feeling weirdly nostalgic for me. Also, kind of wild time for this game to release, right? It's a game based entirely on the moon, and it came out the same week that our astronauts got back from visiting said moon. I hate to get conspiracy theory here with you guys, but it's really one of two options. One, they waited to release the game for this very week on purpose, which would be cool. But the other option, and the far more likely one, is that the entire moon trip was a fake to promote Pragmata. I'm onto you, Capcom. And both options are equally likely, I think. Also, the Earth is flat. I really did enjoy the story of Pragmata. It was cute, charming, it was fun, it was adorable. You know, they tried to pull on the same heartstrings that games like Last of Us and Walking Dead Telltale games, where you play this single, alone, sad, curmudgeon old man who now all of a sudden has to take care of a child. I don't know, I guess to try and make gamers feel something in their cold, dead hearts. And it does work here, but it does feel a bit rushed at the same time. Like, the game's length, you can finish it in like 8-9 hours. So there isn't a ton of time to flesh out these characters, and a lot of it ends up feeling a bit ham-fisted. Like, for example, one of the very first lines you hear come out of the mouth of our main protagonist, Hugh, is when his co-worker randomly mentions he has a daughter, and Hugh goes,
"You got kids? Sounds rough."
I mean, that's a little extreme, isn't it? This dude just said he had a kid, and Hugh immediately goes, "Oh, that sucks." Man, this guy, okay, we get it. This guy hates kids, you know? It would suck if in literally 5 minutes he has to take care of one. Oh no! It's kind of like Dead Space meets Last of Us. So we can just call it Dad Space. But there are a lot of nice bonding moments in the story, like when Hugh teaches Diana how to do a high five, or depending on how much you talk with her and find her gifts around the levels, she'll end up bringing you this really nice art that she makes for you. It's adorable. It's what kids do, right? I've seen kids do that. Mine hasn't yet, because he's one. He'll get there. However, people have mentioned that this, unfortunately, is problematic, which is unfortunate to see AI art in video games these days, but, you know, it is art, and she is AI. The gameplay is what really hooked me, because your shots won't amount to a hella beans unless you use Diana's little hacking ability to lower the enemy defenses first, which it might seem clunky and distracting, you know, kind of like barreling down the highway at 80 miles an hour while also on your phone trying to solve today's Wordle. But it's actually really cohesive and flows into each other really well. It gives you so much more to think about, strategize with, and engage with while you're playing. Not to mention, as you progress through the story, there's so many different modifiers and chains and combos that you can stack into this thing and adjust it to your specific play style. And then you combine that with all of Hugh's weapons. He has offensive, defensive, and tactical weapons. And then you can also include different modifications into Hugh, and then it all becomes your own how you do it. However you want to do it, you can do it. It's all very cohesive and innovative for a third-person shooter. They even made an amiibo of Diana, and her hair looks like spaghetti. Also, I was constantly blown away by the scope of this game, because I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I just assumed it was like linear space hallways. But without giving away too much of the story, there is this massive 3D printer, essentially, and it's run amok, and it's just spitting out all kinds of things. And one of the things it just spits out is an entire replica of
New York City.
So once again, you have the Switch 2 proving that it can do absolutely anything. I mean, the sky's the limit. Can't wait to play GTA 6 on this thing come November. And we haven't even seen the best looking game in this video yet. But before we get there, we gotta talk about some drama, because my Miis are trying to date all the wrong people, and I'm getting sick of it. Because of course, the next game I'm talking about is...
What do you think it is? The answer is... Tomodachi Life.
Tomodachi Life is, it's good. It's good. It's fine. It's good. It's good. It's fine. It very much heavily depends on you. You know, how funny you are, how artistic you are, and more than anything, how creative you are will dramatically shape your experience playing this game. I mean, no two versions of this game is going to be the same for anybody, because Nintendo have given us absolutely no other option. You can't download other people's Miis or designs or creations. There is no online functionality at all. So everything in your game needs to be fully made and idealized by you. It's a very big undertaking. I mean, people are so desperate to find a workaround. Here's the best one. You download the Miitopia demo because it's free. Then you go in there and you can search for Miis online because that had the capability for some reason. You download those Miis to your system and then you load them from your system up into Tomodachi Life. So the best solution we have isn't really even a solution. I will say though, to be fair, the reason why there is no sharing capabilities is because Nintendo turned off the filter.
How good are you at cranking hog? I don't want to brag or anything. I don't think you'll find anyone on all of BeatEmUps who's better at cranking hog than me.
There is absolutely zero restrictions in this game for what you can make and what your Miis can say. You don't even get a stylus here on the Switch like you did back on the 3DS. You just gotta use your grubby, greasy, fatty fingers. People are so desperate for a solution for that too. They're out here wrapping Q-tips in aluminum foil for you Americans. And then, and get this, just spitting on it a little. So here we have another solution for the Tomodachi Life game, and it's you either have grease or spit. Yeah, we're really out here living the dream. Okay, jokes aside, I've had fun playing this game. For me, I wanted to make all of my friends, like all of my actual friends, I wanted to take pictures of them and create Miis of them and try and replicate their personalities and their relationships all within my game world. I don't know, I feel like this game is all about the drama and seeing how these characters interact, and it's more fun for me to have these people that I know and I love interacting other than random fictional people, you know, which I know a lot of people love that. They put like Shrek and Walter White.
My name is Walter White.
But I don't want to see those people fall in love. I want to know who's cheating on who in my friend group. Give me the goss. Also, if I can be so for real, Tomodachi in Japanese means friends, not fictional characters who live in a swamp. So I added me, Kim, Bob, Hannah Fry, Biscuit, Scoot, Ham, Liz the Lass. I mean, really anybody who comes to Friendsgiving every year. Just slapped them straight in the game. Which I'm really, really glad I did that, because it added so many layers to the experience for me. But one was taking pictures of all of my Miis as I was making them and then sending them to the respective friends of the Mii and showing them, hey, look, I made you in this game, or hey, look at this weird, silly thing that you're doing now. I will say though that making Miis is most of my game time in Tomodachi Life. I'm not even kidding about that. I take the Mii creation process very seriously. I like to just use all of the preset Mii stuff and try and create my friends as closely as possible, which takes like an hour. And I've made 15 Miis. I've spent hours just making Miis. And if I'm not endlessly staring at the Mii creation screen, I'm staring at one of the many customizational screens that has this one very annoying track looping again and again and again in the background as I just blank death stare the menu options, having no idea what to do. Do I give this Mii a catchphrase of some kind? What kind of catchphrase would this person even have? Do I give them a weird way that they walk? How would they walk? I never know know what to do. I'm just so creatively stumped. In one part of the game, it asked me to design a cheesecake, and it gave me a blank cheesecake. Now, my mind immediately went to the Oreo Dream, Cream Dream, whatever it is, and Cheesecake Factory. I'm like, I could do that, but I don't know how. So I just stared at a blank cheesecake for 10 minutes, and then I got a stamp of a whipped cream and a cherry, and I called it a day. I don't know why, but I feel bad. I feel like a failure. I have a vision of a thing that I would like to do, but I don't know how to put the spitty pen to paper here. So even though I do enjoy designing the Miis, every time I think about opening and playing this game, and I think to myself, I'm gonna have to like make something and sit there and then like do it there, I can't be bothered. It makes me like not bothered to open the game because it feels like a chore. And then there are times where I decide, okay, I'm gonna boot up the game and I'm not gonna make anything. I'm just gonna go check on my Miis. And that takes like 10 minutes, and then I buy whatever is new in the clothes store and the food truck, and then I'm done. It's weird because I know that there's technically like endless options to be creative with. I can literally make whatever I want. I'm just so limited by my own abilities that it feels restrictive. I will say easily where this game shines is once you have all your Miis set up and they're all running around amok in the town. There are some really funny and wholesome and wacky moments to find. Like this one where out of nowhere, my Bob decided to sprint at Liv to introduce himself by telling her all about his massive Luigi content collection. Another thing with Bob is every single time I want to check in on him and see what he's doing, he's always just taking pictures of like nothing. Sometimes I'm like flexing and for him and doing like sweet tricks, and he's taking pictures of that. To be fair, this is very lore accurate. But even just seeing like my podcast co-host Knight and Sully running around playing chase tag together, my friends who I love so well sitting at a diner and just chatting like they do at Tomodachi Giving every year. Or of course, when they end up falling in love with the wrong people and you have to keep smashing them back together with their respective wives and husbands in the real world, like when my Kip bumped into Kayla and decided to fall in love. You are a married man and she is a married woman, sir. Yeah, I did provoke that one too though, because I just wanted to stir the pot. But thankfully Liv ended up gassing up Kip's wrestling, and so they did end up falling in love because of that, which is also very lore accurate. And I don't want to talk about the fact that just an hour into the game, without even having a conversation yet, Bob asked to move in with Kim. And I don't want to talk about it because I'm still mad. It'll never work out, my guy. Let it go. And for some reason, I'm mad at the real Bob. I don't want to see the guy. And now I know what I said. I was only going to add my friends. However, at some point, I realized half my friends are all single dudes, and I don't know that many single ladies because I've been married for 10 years. So I needed to outweigh the sausage party that I was growing here. And I had Kim add Sabrina Carpenter and Chapel Row. Love me some Sabrina. I don't know, just throw in some single ladies. Is that weird? I don't know. I just wanted to see RGT85 get shut down by Sabrina Carpenter. That's just good stuff. All of these moments are what make the game special. The only unfortunate thing is a lot of these moments are very repetitive. They often loop, and you see the same moments just with different characters and different Mad Lib lyrics, but as you play through, it really does hit on the same beats again and again. There really isn't this addictive must-play, must-buy feeling that a game like Pokepia had, which is probably good because I've spent way too much time in that game already in the last couple of months. I don't need another one. Anyway, that's Tomodachi Life. I don't know, like a 7 out of 10. Indiana Jones! You know, for over a year now, since this game released on Xbox, I've been hearing a lot about this circle. It better be pretty great. You made a whole game about it. When this game dropped on the Series X, whenever it did that, it was gorgeous. I mean, you had these beautiful environments, these lighting effects, great shadows. I mean, even the beginning area of the game is set in this jungle with this lush trees and environments and sun rays beaming through the branches. And I just wondered, how was the Switch 2 going to do this? I didn't know the answer was that it wasn't. I'm being a little silly. Honestly shocked with how much of the foliage and dense detail they managed to keep in, how great it actually does look. If the entire experience was the video game equivalent of the candy Pop Rocks, I wouldn't be able to play it. Fortunately, this only is for the first few minutes. As soon as you enter the cave right at the start of the game, and then subsequently the entire rest of the game, there isn't a single issue that I could find. The game is gorgeous. I cannot believe they pulled off this experience on the console. And this was by far the most ambitious port, and it is just shades and echoes of the first year on Switch 1 when Bethesda gave us Doom, a port that was incredibly ambitious and showed us what the console could do. And here we are again, a year after the Switch 2 releasing, and Bethesda is giving us Indiana Jones. I mean, let's just take a second and just marvel at how great this game looks. Do you guys really know how far we've come? We don't really have that many bad experiences on Switch 2 right now. But the launch of Switch 1, we were getting games like Rhyme and Troll and I, which were making news headlines for these bad Switch games when developers were just beginning to realize the limitations of what the Switch 1 could do. But that's how bad things were. It's like Troll and I made headlines. I mean, on Switch 1, we had WWE 2K18, which got pulled from the eShop because it was so bad. And now we get the brand new WWE games. They look as good on PlayStation 5, and you can beat the crap out of Logan Paul. So it's a win-win. Back to Indiana Jones, and look how good this game looks. Even here outside this window. I mean, sure, these guys are moving at 15 FPS, but that's your fault for looking outside the window. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is clearly made with so much love for those original movies. It's actually set in between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade. So it's a canon story featuring Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones. Like it's the Indy that we grew up with, except it's voiced by Troy Baker doing a really damn good impression of Harrison Ford.
Ancient Egyptian, obviously. A depiction of the best step.
And the game itself feels like you're playing an old 80s movie. I mean, the cinematography of the cutscenes replicate the feeling of the old movie so well. Even the gameplay has this old movie noise filter over it and motion blurring, which I don't know how I feel about motion blurring sometimes, but it is working here for me because the game's in 30 FPS, but it's also making it feel more like a movie. And I know that I usually complain when a first-person shooter is in 30 FPS because I do feel like these should be in 60, but Indiana Jones isn't breakneck speeds like a game like Doom is. It's much slower paced. You find yourself solving a lot of puzzles and exploring environments, kind of like in games like Uncharted or Tomb Raider, which is kind of funny because games like Tomb Raider and Uncharted were actually inspired by Indiana Jones. So in a weird way, this is like one big great circle. Oh! Anyway, I played this game on Xbox when it came out and I didn't like it. Can you imagine if I just ended it there? It's not that I didn't like it, it's just I got to the Vatican, Italy section and I just got lost and confused and I didn't really know what was going on and I gave up. This time I decided to go in and pay way closer attention to what I was doing and it clicked. What I didn't realize, there is like a main mission linear sort of path that you can follow, but there are so many areas off the beaten path you can explore and you can find notes and hidden secrets and little messages everywhere in the game, which will lead you to all of these side activities, side missions, side puzzles, side quests, all different stuff. I'm also usually not super into stealth games, but here in Indiana, it's very forgiving, and also there are so many different kinds of weird items you can pick up around the world, and there's nothing like sneaking up behind a guy and just demolishing him with a violin. I mean, it's equal parts comedic and satisfying. I mean, it's a fantastic port. It's a great adventure game. I can't believe it's playable in handheld mode. I mean, if you're a fan of Indiana Jones, also, you might have noticed, it's entirely on the card, which is cool, I guess. But also, at this point, all of my collection of game key cards, this is just ruining my collection now. You know what? I can fix it. There we go. Perfect. You know, from now on, Nintendo, if it's not a game key card, I'm not buying it. Do better.